It is a dark time on Throssia. Evil forces have put in motion a plan to steal the sacred eye, the sacred stone, the Eye of Pleiana. If they are successful, they would undo the planet's creation and cost all the inhabitants their lives. The fate of Throssia rests in the hands of 4 guardians. However, an evil spell has been cast on the Hex, a tavern where they gather twice yearly to govern the affairs of all the land. The spell has trapped them inside the tavern. The 4 have summoned some 50 candidates from throughout the land, and they will seek to find, among the 50, 4 champions each to represent them on a quest to defend the Eye of Pleiana. One of the 4 guardians, Father Benedict of the clan of Arya, was caught without the walls of the tavern when the spell was cast, trapping him in an abyss between this world and the next. But thanks to the efforts of our other guardians, we managed last night to bring him back to our realm. The 3 other guardians here are Orchid Wraithclaw of the clan of Talum, Onan of the clan of Krieg, and Madison Delure of the clan of Veneda. I am Galavor, the Hexmaster, and I will explain to you how the selection of champions shall unfold, according to the ancient order that has been set forth for dark times such as these. Shall we review the rules, guardians?
Absolutely.
I'm not saying I need to review them, but just in case there is anyone else that needs to hear them again.
Well, the candidates shall come before you, one at a time, and they'll introduce themselves to you. Then you'll have the opportunity to ask them questions. But remember that time is of the essence, so if you take too long, I will need to cut you off. We have many candidates to see, all of which are very choice and have been brought here specifically because of their skill sets. Now, at the end of the day, you will each have an opportunity to select 1 champion each to represent your clan. The order of the selection will be determined in a manner reviewed later. In the meantime, if a candidate strikes you as excellent for your clan, you may ring this bell and exercise your right to choose immediately. Now, 3 of you have already selected 2 champions based on the way that things unfolded last night. So if you ring that bell, that will be your 3rd and final choice for the day. Clan Krieg, you can ring that bell and still make that final selection after we've seen all of the candidates. Now, for the 4th candidate, we will enlist the help of the gods of Throssia, who may be watching us right now to select that final champion by way of magic selection, a portal that will be explained later. So, guardians, do you have any questions?
What if I don't ring my bell?
If you do not ring your bell, then you will have the ability to select 2.
Okay, that seems simple.
I'm just so impressed that you are able to restrain yourself from striking something. As a joke.
May we petition the gods at the end of our selections to perhaps give special favor to those who we couldn't choose but still want to be considered?
Yes, there are many conduits to the outer planes where you can make those pleas known to try and get selection for a candidate who was less than fortunate, either today or tomorrow. And remember, your selections today, at the end of seeing all the candidates, may include those who were not selected last night as well.
Wonderful. We had a lot of wonderful candidates last night.
Agreed.
Indeed.
Any other questions, guardians? In that case,
Back to Hex.
let us begin.
She's evil.
Truly Veneda.
Okay.
Hello, my name's Zook. I'm 14 years old and I'm a halfling and well, I think I've lost my family, so if you've seen a band of halflings around, I'd be very grateful if you could point me to them.
Oh.
I'm just so scared.
I'm so sorry. Okay.
How long have you been missing from your family?
Oh, it's only been a couple of hours, but you know, I'm getting worried.
I see. And what lengths would you go to be able to be reunited with your family?
Oh, anything. I promise, anything. So, I've only been away from my family about a day before. And that was when we went to this job. See, my family, we travel a lot as performers. We sing and dance, and, you know, people pay us to sing and dance. And, well, one day I got really lost, and, oh, it was so scary, and I'm just getting scared thinking about it.
Well, let's have you think about something else.
Okay.
You say that you sing. Do you have any skills or abilities that you might want to let us know about?
Well, I do a fancy jig. It's quite fun. And
Wonderful.
yes, I sing occasionally. I get a little scared, so.
Let's see it.
You
See your
do a
jig.
dance? I call this my friends call me Zook, but my real name's Mazik, so I call this the Mazik dance. Get it? Because it's magic. Okay, ready? It's quite fun. You should try.
You know, please, why don't you show me?
Okay, ready?
All right, gotta make this quick.
Okay, so it's just a tap, a tap, a tap, a tap, a dance around the circle. A tap, a tap, a tap, a tap, a dance around the circle.
Thank you so much.
I thank you.
Thank you, Zook, right?
Yes, Zook.
Well, you are quite a skilled dancer. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Oh, well, now, Zook, I hate to ask this, but if this is sooner rather than later, or later in your life, but when you do find yourself venturing out on your own in the world, what is it that you want to do?
Oh, you know, I really like shiny things. I think what I'd want to do is to find bigger and better shiny things. Really. And just to see the world. I mean, I live my life mostly in a wagon cart with my family, so yeah, shiny things and bigger things.
Wonderful. And with your family, do you get along well with them? Would you consider yourself a team player in a way?
Oh, yes, I love my family. Although sometimes they can get a bit annoying. But I love my family.
Of course. That is how many families can be. Are there any other questions from any of the guardians?
Tell me, what is the most important thing in life?
Well, I'm 14 and a boy. So the most important thing in life for me right now, let's see. I think it's getting more shiny things.
Excellent. Well, I've heard all I need to hear.
As have I. Thank you.
I am satisfied.
Satisfied, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you
Bill.
so much, Zook. You certainly like to make them work for it, don't you?
My name is Caleb Andrus, and something interesting about me is I have a whole Google Docs just filled with D&D characters, so if you don't like this one, I have many more. Hello, my name is Klaus Fibelstib. I am a kobold, and I am from the tiny town of Cragglefoot. My family, they've politicians there. They were the go-betweens between the great dragons that ruled over us and the tiny kobold towns that live beneath. But that was not for me. I wanted to be a musician. So I applied to the great College of Law, and surprisingly, I made it in. And so did my then girlfriend at the time, Karen. But I could not pay my way because my parents did not approve of this. But my girlfriend, she had an idea. She says that if we got married, then her family would pay my way. So I agreed. We got married and went off to the College of Law. But while we were there, me and my girlfriend had a bit of a falling out. And she divorced me. But a teacher there by the name of Professor Sadius Aurelius, he took a liking to me. He was my history teacher. And he promised, he agreed to pay the rest of my tuition. And so he did. He paid my tuition and I went off. I graduated and now I travel the world seeking to repay my great and generous professor.
Whose fault was the divorce?
It was me, I think. I did not cherish her like I should have.
Have you killed anyone?
Oh no, I've never killed.
Would you? If necessary?
For the greater good, I think so, yes. I would like to think that I would have the strength to.
Interesting.
When the day comes and you pass from this life to the next, what do you wish to be remembered for?
I wish to be remembered for my music. I love playing in taverns. I love playing in noble courts. I want people to remember my music in the ways that it made them feel.
Who is most important in your life?
I don't really know. I would think myself. That's all I really have right now. My family sort of abandoned me, and I guess Professor Aurelius, he has been the most kind to me. We keep in touch. He writes me letters, and I send him songs that I've written.
I have a quick scenario for you. Let's say I have a friend, and he comes to you, and he offers you a deal. This deal would help many, many people. It would bring them lots of happiness. They would get to hear your music. But if you take this deal, it would betray someone important to you.
I don't know. I think that keeping trust between your friends and your loved ones is more important than your own personal needs. I would not betray a loved one just so I could be successful. There are always opportunities for success, but there is not always those who will love you for who you are.
Well spoken.
It's a wonderful answer.
Yes.
What would you say is the best way to find someone that's worthy of your trust?
The best way? I don't know. I would say just be yourself and they will come to you. That has worked out pretty well for me, I think.
Wonderful. I have no further questions.
Neither do I.
Nor does Krieg.
Nor I.
Excellent. Thank you, Guardians, and
Thank you
Cam.
so much.
I'm impressed by him.
He seems very charming.
And sensible and balanced.
Well,
Hi there, I'm Darcy Ramirez, and I have learned from experience that I'm really good at outrunning badgers. Am I in the right place?
absolutely.
Okay.
Yes, just
Good.
right there.
Awesome. Yes.
If you would like to, yes.
Thank you. Hi.
Hello.
My name is Ailish Celestri. I didn't steal a name. It's actually my name. I know you don't see a bunch of people with tusks, you know, having that sort of name, but it's mine. I didn't steal it, I promise. Hi there, welcome. I came in for the job. Is this the right place for the job? Because the person out in the tavern told me that.
You are fine.
Great, awesome, hi, hello.
What makes you feel you are right for the job?
I need to be here. I do. There's really no other reason for me to be not traveling anymore than if I weren't here. It's, I've seen a lot of things. I have, and from what I've heard, this is where I need to be. I hope that's not too vague.
Let's take a deep breath.
Yeah.
Yeah. What in all of your travels, what is the most important thing that you've learned?
The world will keep turning. There was one time, I used to travel a lot with Abba, and he would take me all over. One time we saw this huge, expansive, fiery, abyssal lake. I've been all over, that's kind of my thing. And then I learned that nature will find a way, and we will find a way to make it work. I'm not sure. He told me to leave, and so I'm here, and I'm just trying to figure out what I need to be doing.
Have you ever killed someone?
Once.
Why?
It was an accident. It was entirely an accident. It was after I found out that I could do things. It was, I was trying to make light. You know, that one time where you make the light and then it just, you know? It didn't go well.
Well, especially when you describe it like that, that sounds
Well, it didn't go, it went, and that was the problem. Yeah.
Well, I'm so sorry.
You move on. You move on. Yeah.
Do you think you're capable of killing intentionally?
There needs to be a balance. I'm not going to try to insert my will into anybody's existence. I mean, I'm technically not supposed to even exist, you know. Orcs and humans, they don't really work well together ever. And so it's sort of trying to make the world work, trying to make it make sense. I don't know if anything ever really makes sense. So you just let nature take its course, you let life take its course, and then you hope for the best results.
Let me pose a scenario to you.
Right.
There you stand, before you a crowd of angry people, ready to take your life. You have in your hand the item necessary for you to solve this scenario. What is that item, and how do you use it?
Well, I actually did this once. Funny enough, it was I was in the next town over. I learned that you don't really steal cattle. I haven't really figured that out yet. I stole a whole bunch of cattle. It was a mess, but it was totally unintentional. I stole them, and there was kind of a group of angry farmers. So I caused a big ruckus. Got myself arrested. It's pretty safe, you know, being able to get carted off by whatever city watch you have. And then, well, I actually had a paintbrush with me. It was something that I had borrowed from a friend, and I broke out using the paintbrush. I kind of scared the guard a little bit, and, you know, stabbed yourself in the leg for a second. And I'm not really good with people, I'm sorry. But yeah, you find yourself a way to get out of the situation, and then you find yourself a way to get out, and you just use whatever means you need to.
You seem very, very resourceful.
Well, you kind of have to be.
I suppose enough to stab yourself in the leg with a paintbrush.
It was an interesting day. I mean, after Abba sent me out, he said, you know, make your way. And, you know, elves aren't really good at emotional connection, especially if it's a sort of, you know, make your way. It didn't work. And so I just do what needs to happen, you know. I don't really think too much about it. I just go into it. I make it work. Yeah.
Well, Ailish, you seem to have quite the adventurous life so far. What do you think is the most important lesson you'll need to learn going forward?
How to make this not something of my own. It was an accident how I got it. It's not supposed to be mine. And I need to learn how to use it, and I need to learn how to understand what's happening after he sent me out, and
So you'd like to harness what you have,
Yes. Yes.
not shy away from it.
Yes.
All right.
I mean, that's what he did. He used all of this power, and he tried to. Are any of you magic users?
Yes.
Yes. Do you have a focus, a thing that you have to focus on? Do you use materials? Do you use I don't know.
I sort of use, in a way, but I sing mostly. I have an instrument that I use to sort of focus my magic into.
I was his instrument,
Oh my goodness.
and that's how I got it. That's how we were able to travel all over the place. I mean, have you ever seen huge Feywild migrations? I mean, I was able to travel everywhere because of his magic, and then somehow it affected me, and now I'm here.
Well, we appreciate you coming.
Well,
Thank
thank
you
you.
so much for
Thank
your
you very
time.
much. All right, I'm just gonna, yes.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck, Ailish.
Thank you.
Let's just put this up there. So much spunk.
Hello, my name is Emma Knowlton, and I created a theater company as a freshman in college.
Jeez, what creek?
Hello, I'm Arbor Davis, and I was a ranger in the war in Eberron. I was part of the Relish Rangers, and I had like this great team that I loved so much. And one day I was on watch, and I was writing a letter to my brother, and I wasn't paying attention, but I woke up in the hospital, in the med bay, I should say, like 2 weeks later with no vision. But it's okay, because my brother, who is a wizard, he gave me this little lizard I call Oprah, and she's my vision for me. The war ended, and I don't really know what to do with myself anymore, so I've just been wandering around, trying to figure things out.
You seem pretty emotional about that experience. How long ago was it?
It was about 2 years ago. But and it was my fault. They don't blame me. I have 3 little arrow tattoos right down my forearm for the 3 members of my party that died, but the others don't blame me at all, so it's fine.
What have you learned?
Well, I'm not gonna let my guard down ever again, especially around the people I care about.
Is it difficult to keep your guard up now that you have lost your sense of sight?
Sometimes, but I have Oprah, and Oprah is always on the watch. She's always just focused. She's on my shoulder most of the time, but she always makes sure there's no threats around. She'll turn around often, which is very convenient because I have 360 sight now.
So you are good at taking your weaknesses and challenges and making them become strengths for you.
I like to think so, yeah.
What is a weakness that you have right now that you are hoping to turn into a strength?
Oh man, right now I don't have people to care about, and I want to prove myself again that I could take care of people again, even though I let my last team down. I want to.
You can let that go. You don't. If you keep bringing it up, it's just.
Sure. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I understand.
Can be hard.
Tell us, which of the houses do you feel you are best suited for?
I really think that I'd be suited towards Arya. I just like the idea of light and good and bringing that to other people.
Tell me, what is the difference between right and wrong?
I think it's perspective, because I've done things that I am not proud of in order to protect those I love. I think if it's motivated towards bringing good into the world, then it is right.
Well said.
Would you kill intentionally?
I have killed intentionally as a ranger. We had to scout ahead for the army. But I would never kill someone innocent intentionally. And I would try not to kill if I could. that's not my first choice.
How do you know if someone's innocent?
Again, back to intention. And of course, when you're on the road, it's hard to guess intention, but I just go off my instinct.
Would you say you have good instinct?
I would say so.
Good.
If you could change one thing in this world, what would it be?
I would change things back to before the war.
Why is that?
People got along a lot better then, and maybe then I'd know what to do with my life, I guess. There was something I was doing before, and now there's nothing.
Any final questions, Guardians?
I am satisfied.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you.
It's always so wonderful and cheerful to know there are people who seek so much good in the world.
Yes, quite.
Hi, I'm Ian Buckley, and one interesting thing about myself is 2 years ago I got run over by a General Motors truck and for all intents and purposes should be dead. Hello there. My name is Bert Maleto of the Maleto family. I am a wizard, a current student. I'm working on my master's thesis. I focus on apiomancy, right? It's a very obscure branch of magic. Bees, people underestimate bees, right? You see a hive, you get honey out of it, and that's all. But what people don't understand is within the hive there's so much activity going on, so many different interactions, different dances, and that in itself can be harnessed as a form of magic, right? So a project I'm working on right now is working to expand and find the frontiers of possibility within bee magic. Bees, very few people know about this, but in halfling culture, a long time ago, there was many mythologies about the close link between bees and the bridge between life and death. And that's something I'm exploring a bit more, finding what exactly can be accomplished in the bridge between life and death with these colonies. So that's my thing right now.
How many people would you say you interact with in any given week?
In a given week?
And people not bees.
Yes.
Right. That narrows it down a lot, actually. In a given week, I'd say I interact with roughly around 30 people, perhaps. Mostly in passing. I mostly keep to myself and my bees.
People not in passing? People where you've had extended conversations with?
Extended conversations? Can't say there's a whole lot of those. I do, on occasion, enjoy striking up something with a stranger, talking about them with their own ideas, their own views of magic. When it comes to extended relationships, I haven't seen anyone like in my family for a while. We usually keep things a little distant in that respect, but I like to keep to myself, and my bees, they're easier to understand.
Let me pose a scenario to you.
Right.
There you sit, in prison. You have just been sentenced to life, possibly even death.
Right.
Tell me, you are proud of what you've done to get this sentence. What is it that you have done to obtain this sentence?
Pushing the bounds of magic beyond what we understand. quite honestly. There's so many systems out there that are untapped forms of magic. And there's rules and regulations and taboos, social mores that people enforce, but there's so much more that we could be doing. And if that gets me in prison, then I think it's worth it expanding those boundaries.
You say you're exploring a bridge between life and death.
Right.
What is it that you hope to find?
With bees, with my hive, something I've observed is it's very difficult to tell, but sometimes if you're watching carefully among the dance, individuals will dip into another plane, the astral plane, the ethereal plane. I haven't quite been able to track it yet, but I'm hoping to be able to tap into that and be able to move past the necessity of death in life. Death is a great unknown for us, right? We know that there's the gods, the afterlife, but we never know what's going to happen to us. I personally find security in the idea of being able to harness that, control that, keep it within our power, right? And that might be what gets me in prison, to be honest, but...
Have you ever used physical force to harm another individual?
Physical force, as in with my own body?
Magic.
Without magic. In university, I got into a few scraps. But never anything severe, and I never came out on top in those.
Do you consider your bees a power you can utilize on the battlefield?
Oh, definitely.
Oh no.
Oh,
So
definitely.
that sounds so terrible.
Oh,
Doesn't it?
oh,
In the
yeah.
best type of way, though, perhaps.
You'll have to wait and see.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions, Guardians?
I am satisfied.
No.
I'm satisfied.
Right?
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, candidate.
Thank you.
There's just bees everywhere on the battlefield.
Yeah, wouldn't that be miserable?
Wouldn't it be?
Oh,
Oh, no. It's bee gone.
If you could channel those bees so they only attacked particular groups, that could be quite powerful.
Yes, indeed.
I suppose there are many forms of magic that people don't explore. I think it's very creative that this young man is looking into new fields of study.
I can't say I've ever heard of bee-mancy before.
He called
Nor
it
have I.
abimancy. There. So let's see. So far we've had
That's something, that's for sure.
Zook, who is the young boy, the
Halfling.
halfling. No, yes, the halfling, the dancer. Then we had Klaus, Fibs, the little
Cobalt.
the little yes, kobold, and
The
then
performer.
and we've had Ailish, the half orc, sort of timid. We've
With power.
yes, quite.
How
She had
ready to be.
a lot of spunk to her.
She did.
And there was
Indeed.
Arbor, the ex-soldier, quite a backstory there. And then we just had, was it Bert?
Birch.
Birch. Oh, I
Like the
misspelled
tree,
it. I see.
believe.
Well, there seemed a lot to Birch. Wasn't exactly a basic Birch, now was he?
Appropriate name. I wonder if he was born to that name.
Does seem very interesting.
I do wonder if some of these people would be capable of doing what needs to be done in this battle that lays ahead?
That's a great question.
They are impressive in their own rights and definitely notable. However, what we're seeking is a particular type of individual. And I wonder, with so many being novice in the ways of destruction or killing, if they are the right fit.
But Talon, is that not why we are here? To hone and to harness? Sometimes it's better to have someone who doesn't have a lot of impressions, but is impressionable.
I can see that.
I'm just excited to meet lots of new friends. But yes, it is always interesting to see those that have much to learn.
I'm curious, Father Benedict, what did you think of our blind soldier?
Mm-hmm.
She was an interesting soul, and I feel a pain for her in that she seeks a direction. She seeks to be needed, and I know that this quest could give her that. But I am unsure as to if her heart has healed enough to be able to take on a burden of this degree.
Well, we will certainly have to see who else it is that is called. There are many wonderful candidates, and while they are all powerful and amazing in their own right, it is important that we select the individuals that can help us retrieve the eyes. And it's not just about who is powerful and who is good, but we are each creating our own team. It might be difficult occasionally because there are those who are so wonderful in their own right, but it is not just about selecting an individual, it is about creating a whole, not just in our own group, but with each other, as we all seek to fight for the same cause together. That's what makes this decision so difficult.
Agreed.
Yes.
I know there were many who, had circumstances been different, I know our decisions would have been as well, and they were impressive. However, they did not fit what our mission is going to demand of us.
Indeed.
Yes, we shall see. Time shall tell.
I do get a little bit nervous when you just sort of play with a knife at the table, though.
It's when he doesn't have a knife to play with that we must begin to worry.
I
Agreed.
suppose that's fair.
Do any of you have in mind who that last person you're going to pick, what they're going to bring?
Well, I've been sort of seeing things as they are here, but I knew that for my group I wanted an incredibly powerful magic user. I wanted someone who could be the face, or perhaps many faces, someone who was a talker and who could perhaps bring a certain amount of espionage, shall we say. I now need someone that perhaps can put up a fight if necessary, but that being said, I will not really know exactly who I need until I see them.
I'm Mike McClellan, and I am a music producer. I produce music for recording artists. Good morning, friends.
Hello.
I am Nico Dothnar Various. I realize that's a mouthful. My friends all call me Nick. And forgive me, but I can't help feeling that there's a bond of friendship already forming between us here in this room. So please, call me Nick. I'm a humble merchant. I travel far and wide, every clime, every continent, among every people. selling my wares from my trusty wagon. Clothing, jewelry, weapons, food and drink. I'm a friend to all people and all races. I like people. People like me. You there. Forgive me for asking, but are you by chance of royal blood?
Well, if you have to ask.
Well, I certainly don't, because it's obvious. And I have something here, this gown, hand-woven elven silk, I think would suit you perfectly. The purple hues denote royalty, and I think it would flatter you very well. You, sir, are you by chance a warrior? You strike me as having a warrior's bearing. Perhaps you'd be interested in this elven dagger, finely made elven steel.
I'm not sure bribery is the way we want.
Bribery?
The shoes are.
I wouldn't call that bribery. I think this is a man who can read a situation quickly and make decisions on the drop of a hat.
I flatter myself that I know people when I see one. I see you as having a warrior's gait. This blade, perfect for concealment within a sleeve. And your enemy won't know you have it on you until you cut his throat. Forgive me.
Have you ever been in battle?
Battle? Oh, I'm not a man of violence. I like people too much. I haven't killed anyone since... never.
Could you?
Well, I mean, I have some skill with the blade, but I don't appreciate violence as a solution to problems. I am of the opinion any problem in life can be solved with a carefully prepared beverage. Shared, of course. In good faith.
I'm curious, if we were to send you out with an important group on a mission, would you accomplish what we had sent you to do, or would you simply try to sell
I
things?
am the soul of dependability. I have friends in every place. I'm very useful.
Are you a one-man operation, or do you have a team that works under you?
Oh, no. Just me, myself, and I. Although I am very good at working with others. I love people. People love me. I get around. I have friends and comrades. The world is my team. I have no enemies anywhere. Not anymore.
What happened to your previous enemies?
Oh. You know, it escapes me. They just seem to disappear. It's very sad. Very sad when we lose any souls in this world. And I weep for them, wherever they are, whatever it was they drank, or whoever cut their throat in their sleep, I weep for them.
What would you say is one of your greatest skills besides your ability to read those around you and present them with such fine wares?
Oh, well, I think I'm pretty good in a game of cards. I like sport. I like the finer things in life. I like good food, good drink. I have some mulled wine from the Halfling tribe in the next valley over. Their vineyards have been operating for hundreds of years, and this vintage, it's very good. Would any of you like a glass?
I'm hesitant to take any kind of drink from you.
You have nothing to fear from me. I'm as harmless as a mouse.
What he means to say, of course, is that we are on the job right now.
Very well. And I respect the autonomy of every individual, whether they want to buy or not buy. Well, it's all the same to me.
Nico, you strike me as someone very slippery. However, slippery can be good in the right circumstance.
Why do you always give me such a hard time then?
I want you for Clan Talum.
Well, that is a generous offer. Though I don't consider myself a slippery person.
It's okay. As long as you suit what the clan needs, you'll do just fine.
Congratulations, Nick. You've been selected for Clan Talum.
It would be my honor to join you. Thank you very much.
Well,
I did not intend to choose someone, but
May the gods help you.
please.
I'm Thomas Beckham, and I'm a very common participant in Evermore Park.
whenever you're ready.
I am Gorelov of Quadria. I come seeking to represent the Arya faction, and I believe this is where I can make my stand.
Tell us about yourself.
I come from a very small farming village. When I was a young child, I found that I had a penchant for truth, justice, and the ability to talk out of every situation and make friends with almost anyone. I can't wait to go and meet new people. Every conversation, or every person, is just a chance for a new conversation and a new friend.
Very
Well,
good.
what would you say is the most important lesson that you've ever learned so far in your life?
That you can make new friends anywhere, just so long as you have the ability to talk.
How do you decide what is moral and what is not?
What is right is simply what is doing good to others, being helpful, being friendly, being kind, trying to do everything possible to make life easier for others, and that is what is morally right and what should be done by all, and all can be redeemed and brought to that path with just a little bit of persuasion.
Tell me, when is it permissible to lie?
It is not permissible to lie, ever,
Why?
because that is not helping others. In most cases, lying is done to hurt others or to be for personal gain, and that is unjust.
If you were to somehow have your ability to speak removed, not in a threatening kind of way, of course, what would you do? How would you cope? You say that talking is your main
I would learn
tool.
sign language or find another way to communicate.
Oh. Fair enough.
I can write. I'm literate.
Fair enough.
Admittedly, that would slow conversations down quite a bit. Don't mind me. Just 30 more seconds, I promise.
Let me give you a scenario. You are asleep on the side of the road you've been traveling for many days. You awaken in mid-afternoon, and you see that 15 paces down the road, a young man is holding a bag containing your possessions, and he's speeding away.
I chase after him and try and talk him into giving my stuff back, or at least see as to why he feels that he needs my items. Because if he is in greater need than I of them, then he can have them.
What if it turns violent?
Then I will do as I must. I will try to render him unconscious, but
But not take a life.
no, never. Not if it can be avoided. All can be redeemed.
And if it can't be avoided,
Well,
would you take a life?
if it were for the greater good, yes. But that is an absolute last case scenario and should often not even be considered.
I have a scenario for you. There are 3 boxes in front of you. In one, and they're open so you can see. In one, there is a pile of gems. In one, there is a piece of candy. And in one, there is a leaf. You get to have one of these boxes.
I will take the box of gems and distribute it amongst those in the local area in order to boost the common good.
Fair enough. I suppose that wasn't a great question on my
No.
part.
Interesting thought process.
I have a scenario. You are captured with your comrades. Each of you put in a different cell, and each of you sentenced to death.
Well, it wouldn't be the first time.
Your other colleagues outside the prison have been able to get you materials, just you, to escape. What do you do?
I'm assuming I have the materials for a lockpick.
That is up to you.
In that case, I will take my lockpick, I will get out of my cell, and I will go find the others and save them, regardless of the peril it brings to me.
Any other questions, Guardians?
I am satisfied.
No.
Thank you so much, candidate.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, Guardians, many fine candidates this morning.
Absolutely.
How are we feeling about our selections, Talon?
You know, I did not set out to choose another
I was so
member.
shocked you were so bell happy.
You know, he was the missing piece for my team.
I see. Acting on instinct. I like that. Let's see if that aids you in the coming battles. The hourglass is empty. Let us give our Guardians a chance to confer. Guardians, you have 5 minutes to confer before the next candidate arrives. The gods of Throssia, if you're watching, we implore you to help us choose our fourth and final candidate. You may make your selection by going to www.hivechannel5.com and clicking on the blue vote box. Voting begins today at 4 p.m. Mountain Time. Thank you all. We will continue our search in 5 minutes. Thank you, Guardians.
Thank you.
Welcome back. Now, if you're just joining us, it has been a dark time in Throssia. There are evil forces seeking the Eye of Pleiana, and our 4 Guardians are here to select 4 champions for each of their houses. They've been trapped by an evil spell inside this tavern called the Hex, and they will select champions to embark on a perilous quest to defend the Eye of Pleiana. The search resumes now. The next candidate, please.
My name is Nicole Sylvester, and I love animals, and I have 3. I have a dog named Malevolent, a cat named Bibblelip, and another cat named Durgabond, and they are my life.
This way.
Oh, sorry.
No worries. No worries. There's a lot going on.
Hi, my name is Laura Lee Zelvara, and I'm half human, half elf, well, half drow, but I was raised by a human, so it's all good. And I was raised in a very small village where I was set apart not by my slightly pointy ears or my stunning amber eyes. I was kind of set apart by my knack to get into trouble. I was always missing from chores and usually found stealing things, but as I got older, my skill of deception got even better. And I got so good at telling lies that people like to believe my lies over the truth. The times I decided to tell the truth, that is. So at age 16, my mother, she was like, Lorelei, I'm so tired of your antics. You're usually getting me into more trouble than you get yourself in. So she kicked me out. I moved to the nearest city I could and made my way quickly to the underbelly because of my exceptional skill and all. I was able to pick up on a little language called Thieves' Cant. Found my way to this prestigious Thieves' Academy, went right in to Lady Fenora and was like, I'm ready. And because she was so surprised and honestly just impressed by my skill, she let me in and I was there for a year. People got tired of me because apparently I was too proud or whatever. I just think they were jealous. Anyway, they kicked me out. So I've been at it on my own for 7 years, if my skill doesn't get me through things, I have a couple of friends that say they can see past my attitude problem, but if they don't want to hang with me, I find another group and I put on one of my many personas. My favorite is Miss Nightwood, and oftentimes they like the accent enough that they let me into their group right away and I get what I want and then leave. And then I just go about my business.
You are a woman of many talents.
I sure am.
Tell me a lie.
I like the color blue.
Convincing.
What would you say is your greatest attribute?
That's hard because I have so many. Probably my disguises. I'm really good at disguises.
Let me pose a scenario to you.
I'm ready.
There you stand, amongst a large crowd of people. There your target stands on stage. This might be the only chance you have. In your hand is the weapon of choice. What do you do, and what is that weapon?
My weapon is a knife. I don't like carrying a lot of big weapons because my nails are very dainty and I'm a lady. Anywho, I would go up to my target all nice-like because I'm really charming, right? So I'd go up and just slide the knife right under his ribs, or her ribs, or their ribs.
Resourceful.
Yep, that's me.
What would you say is one of the most difficult situations you've gotten yourself in, and how did you get out?
I would say one time when I was young, I may have accidentally gone and stolen some chickens from the next door neighbors. And since they were right there, they kind of could see me, right? So how I got myself out is I just kind of threw the chicken at them and was like, I was teaching it how to fly. And then I ran off. It wasn't my best moment, but the chicken apparently just smacked them in the face and they fell over, knocked onto a piece of wood in the barn, and then forgot about the whole thing.
Well, seems you quite have a lot of luck on your side.
Oh yeah. Well, also skill. I'm very skillful.
Of course, of course.
Also convincing.
Good answer.
I was convinced you were about to say you make your own luck. I'm glad you didn't disappoint.
Yeah. Well, you know, I am awesome, so.
If you do say so yourself.
And I do. I certainly do.
Have you ever met someone you consider to be your equal, or at least a valiant competitor?
I would say that headmistress, Lady Fenora, was pretty cool. But then she kicked me out, so obviously, like, where she has, like, maybe the skill to teach others, it's like one of those, like, those who can't teach kind of thing. So, almost.
I see.
What do you value most in a good friend?
I value most in a good friend someone who is, I guess, you know, it would appreciate the skills that I have and look past the, well, I don't even know. Some say it would be a fault that I'm so proud of my abilities. So I guess I would say a friend who can accept me for me, and I'll accept them for them.
You sound as though you don't have good friends as of yet.
Well, maybe I haven't had the opportunity to make a good friend.
Would you say that friends stick around, or do they leave you quite frequently?
They tend to either leave or, like, keep their distance sometimes.
Do you know why that is?
Probably because they probably just, it's another jealousy thing. Like they just think I'm so great, and it like they just need a break from me to like get their confidence back. You know what I'm saying?
Of course.
Yeah.
Tell us of a time when you didn't feel so confident and great in your abilities.
Oh, that's a tough one. You're really digging deep into my soul, y'all. Probably when my mama kicked me out. That was a blow. I mean, I bounced back, but that was a blow because she's my mama and she's supposed to love me. And I mean, I know that I kept stealing things and she kept having to pay people and stuff, but I'm her daughter, right? Like, keep me around.
Well, it was Laurelie?
Yes.
Thank you.
Laurelie Zelvara.
Of course. Well, I'm certainly satisfied.
As am I.
And I.
All right. Thank you, Guardians. Thank you, candidates.
Thank you so much. Wonderful job. Well, she certainly had a lot of charm.
My name is Josh Whitehead, and I play trumpet on the side.
Hello.
Hello. My name is Grazofir, and I'm a half-elf warlock.
Well, Grasifir, wonderful to meet you. Can you tell us a little bit more about yourself? How did you become a warlock?
As a young child, I was taken from my family and trained in the dark arts of magic.
And how have you used those dark arts?
For the good of the deities that I serve.
And who are those deities, and what do they stand for?
It's Ailish, or yes, Ailish, and she is an evil deity who preys on the young victims of the world.
So it would seem you're comfortable serving what you believe to be an evil god.
Yes.
Let's do a little bit of role-playing, shall we? I'm going to take on the persona of a shopkeeper. And I have recently sold you something that you know I am trying to make you buy for too high of a price. Ready? But no, of course, this is exactly how much this item costs. I demand that you pay what you owe me.
I see, but this object is not worth as much as you're asking.
Well, I've already given it to you, so if you do not pay me, I will call the guards.
And I will slaughter each and the last one of them.
I see. Thank you so much. We're out of the role play now.
That is a unique response to that situation. Why choose slaughtering the guards over another means of dealing with the deceitful merchant?
I don't trust people very often.
Who or what do you trust?
Myself and my beliefs.
Where does your loyalty lie?
I have no loyalty to anyone except for myself.
What is it that you value most in this life?
Changing it for the better. Changing the world for the better.
And if you could change the world, what would that world look like?
Peace and humanity.
So this evil deity that you serve, is that something you chose, or was it something that was given to you, as you seem to want to make the world a better place? How does that balance with your worship?
I was given the opportunity, and I took the opportunity as a chance to make the world a better place for people and for all creatures.
It's a wonderful, noble cause. How far would you go in order to achieve that?
Whatever it took.
I think we all believe that.
Is there any moral line that you would not cross in this quest of yours?
Slaying a young child or a young pup of an animal.
Interesting.
That is good. There, unfortunately, we have had some that seem there are no lines that they wouldn't cross, so it is good to hear that. I believe I have all the information I need.
As do I.
As do I.
Thank you for your
Thank-
time.
Thank you, candidate. Thank you,
Thank you
governor.
so much.
Thank you.
It is interesting how one can worship someone that is supposedly evil, yet still have a worthy cause.
It is most interesting.
I think that I don't know. How did you all feel about that candidate?
Well,
I think
it does not lack bloodlust.
I think I'm excited to see the next one.
That's fair.
Not that I didn't enjoy the previous one.
Hi, my name is Isaac McFarlane. An interesting thing about me, I've been run over by an SUV.
Second one.
People need to learn how to look both ways.
Apparently.
Hello there, friends. My name is Frithgar, and I'm a paladin of Bahamut. What would you like to know about me?
A paladin, that's quite a worthy cause. How did you come to such a noble profession?
I was the smallest in my clutch. I was kicked out when I was a child and taken in by the Order of Bahamut. They served me well. They gave me food and showed me the path to light and righteousness. How could I do anything else but serve the Platinum Dragon?
I see.
Tell us, what is most important to you?
Justice. Righteousness, goodness. Is there anything better in this world?
What would you do to obtain such justice?
Carve out any wickedness that stands among the hearts of the mortal men of this realm.
Who determines what is wickedness?
Well, Bahamut and his teachings, of course.
I have a scenario for you.
Yes.
By whatever strange means, you are finding yourself in a place where in front of you is a young lad who you have the ability to help right there and then. However, if you take the time to help this young person in the peril that they are in, you guarantee the harm of hundreds of others. But if you help those people, you will never know if the young boy was saved or not.
That's quite the conundrum. I would save the masses. I would do whatever I could to come back for the boy, but as you said, I would never know. I would have to go for the most good.
Interesting.
Tell me, when is it permissible to lie?
I can't think of a single situation in which I would lie.
Are there such things as noble killings in your book? And what would be one of those situations?
Slaying the undead, of course. Slaying the wicked, those who oppress, those who rule with an iron fist, who have no mercy.
And should you one day come to the knowledge that this God you served was not what you thought he was, what then?
Impossible, but I'll humor you. I would do as much good as I could on my own, according to what I feel in my heart.
Tell me, what do you see as a cowardly form of killing?
Killing someone to cover up your crimes.
What is your weapon of choice, Paladin?
The great sword or the great axe?
Great.
I have something in stewing.
I like this.
What is your opinion of those you've had to kill? And how do you feel about those killings?
I would not admit this to many, but I'm saddened by it. Most of my order would laugh at the thought of killing somebody they deemed merciless or unworthy, but deep down, I wonder if I could have turned them if I'd had the chance.
Thank you for your answer.
I have heard all that I need to hear.
As have I.
As have I. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you kindly.
Quite the strong voice.
Yes.
I know I feel strongly about him for one of you. How did you guys feel about that individual?
He seems one of stout heart,
Yes.
and I admire his sense of right and wrong.
I appreciated that he felt like a cowardly way.
Hi, my name's John, and interesting fact about me is I study martial arts.
Martial arts.
Oh.
Hi, my name's John, and yeah, I'm excited to see what happens today.
Fantastic.
If you could please introduce yourself as your character.
Sure thing. My name is Sylph. Now, don't be alarmed by the color of my skin. I know most humans have never seen a genasi before, so let me just assuage your fears. I am just like you. There's no reason to be afraid. Now, what questions might you have for me?
What skills do you have? What would you say is your greatest skill among those?
Sure. Well, as a half genie, half human, I have a natural aptitude towards magic. My father was a wind genie, and by the color of my effervescent green skin, you might be able to tell that I have a gift towards air magic.
Tell us, what is it that you desire?
Yeah, well, I like to travel the world. I have been traveling since I was a young lad, and I really enjoy seeing new atmospheres. You might not know this, but each city has its own air about it, has its own kind of taste, and I really enjoy just really living in those spaces and getting to know all that the human world has to offer.
How would you define what is good?
Well, I think that human morality is kind of a tricky thing. For me, I tend to try to shy away from human affairs. I just do whatever feels natural to me. I feel very connected in nature, and I try to go with that flow. I do generally think that if you're trying to go against the flow of nature, it's probably not the best thing to do, if that makes sense.
It does.
All right, I have a scenario for you.
Shoot.
You are hanging in a dungeon by your ankles. Those that have killed you are in front of you. The weapon you need is in your hand. Why are you in the dungeon?
Well, if I've been in the dungeon, I'm assuming it's because I've done something naughty. That could be a various amount of things, but let's not dwell on that. I probably said something or did something that may have angered a noble. Of course, I did not do it intentionally, but these things happen.
I see. And I guess when I say weapon is in your hand, the tool that you need to escape is in your hand. What is it that you use?
Well, my weapon of choice is usually a staff. But, I mean, practically speaking, I would need some type of lockpick to get out of, ankle restraints.
Excellent.
Do you have any qualms with attacking your prisoners?
Oh, no, not at all. I mean, if they've prisoned me, it's not even the first strike, right? Yeah, I'd probably just cast some spell on them and play with them a little bit until I could get one of them to unlock my bounds.
I see. Would you say that your magic or your personality is your greatest strength?
Well, of course my personality, but my magic is nothing to be... it is quite strong, so don't go, underestimating that either.
I think I am satisfied. I have heard all I need to hear. What about you?
Agreed.
Wonderful.
Agreed.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Had many a suave and charming fellow today.
Yes, we have.
If by suave and charming you mean hedonistic, then I would agree.
Oh, Father.
Hi, my name is Esther Slaker. I'm a stay-at-home mom, a model, and a voice teacher. Hello.
Hello.
My name is Druzilia. I come from a fallen clan of Drow. A few hundred years ago, my community fell, and I got the heck out of there. I don't really, I'm not really here to make friends. But if you have my back, I have your back, and hopefully we can accomplish a goal together.
Druzilia, is that
Yes.
right? What would you say is one of your greatest skills?
My greatest skills is my sorcery. As having natural-born powers, they tend to be quite strong. And to be honest, I don't always have the hang of them all of the time, but when they come out, it's always something amazing.
I see.
Tell us, what is it that you value the most?
I value independence and strength, courage. I also am a huge defender of the innocent. I don't really have a family or group of friends that I'm loyal to, but if I see someone harming someone innocent, I will definitely step in.
I have a scenario. There you walk. You are bound by your wrists.
This is the one I did. You're stealing mine.
Oh, dearie me. You are bound by your wrists, pulled along. On either side of you are crowds of people. You are on your way to your hanging, found worthy of death by your enemies. In the crowd is one of your fellow mates. They are able to slip you the weapon or item that you need to get out of this situation. What is that weapon, and how do you escape?
The weapon is a very small dagger or some kind of throwable object that I can quite sneakily cut my own ropes with, at which point my hands will become free and I can wreak all sorts of havoc on the situation.
Is that something you enjoy, wreaking havoc?
It can be fun, yes. There's pleasure in a little chaos. However, I don't need to be the center of attention, and mostly people just get what they have coming to them.
Tell us, how do you decide what is right and what is wrong?
I think what is right and what is wrong is different for every person. I don't think there's any one higher power that we would all agree has it all correct. So for me, something that's right is going to help me out without hurting too many other people. And something that's wrong is going to hurt people that have no business being hurt.
I have a scenario for you.
Is it your own?
You're bound by your wrists. In front of you is a marshmallow. This marshmallow has wronged you. What do you do?
The marshmallow has wronged me, so this is personal.
Yes.
Well, I would probably cast a spell on it so that it would slowly burn until it was nothing but ash, at which point I would pulverize the ash, throw it out the window, and go on my merry way.
Do you have a particular type of spell that you like to cast?
I think my favorite type of spell is the kind that really shows my power. Something grand, moving an object very far, or doing a lot of damage. My spells can do some pretty heavy hitting.
I see.
When was the last time you felt vulnerable, and what caused that situation?
A few hundred years ago, I did spend time with a campaign of comrades, and we ventured together for quite a while. I'm not normally one for loyalty, but I did become close to those and develop relationships, and that's what made me vulnerable. And that's why, perhaps to this day, I try not to make such close bonds.
But you said that if you are in a group where they have your back, you can play well with others?
Oh, absolutely. I do believe in loyalty, just perhaps not friendship.
Fair enough.
I appreciate the distinction.
I believe there is a very clear distinction there.
I have a scenario for you.
Another scenario?
There's a marshmallow, and it's bound.
You're almost getting it.
I know. I've just had to come up with so many scenarios. But I do have a scenario for you. There is someone who is innocent, someone young, and they are being wronged. However, the assignment that you were given to do, which would in time create greater peace in the kingdom, your opportunity is happening right then. If you were to help this young child, that opportunity might not come up again. Do you choose to help the innocent child who is being beaten, or do you go with your assignment, which would lead to greater peace, but down the road?
I help the child. The difference I can make in the life of one person may be greater than the life of the whole.
Interesting.
I believe we've heard all that we need to hear.
I agree.
I agree.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, candidate.
I did not see that response from her.
I like her.
I do too.
Well, your decisions are up, Tal.
Oh, I can petition the gods.
That's true.
Right here? Okay. Hi, I'm Gandon Ludwig, only person I know with that name, and I do improv for fun, and I really enjoy theater.
Is he in the list?
Yes.
Gandon. Okay.
Hello?
Hi, I'm Joseph Strider. I'm a monk with the Way of the Shadow. I was trained by my mentor Bodhi before he passed. We never really got along, but I'm very grateful for his teachings. Is there anything you would like to know about me, past?
What did he teach you that
He
was
taught-
most important to you?
To me? To control the emotions I have. They're built up inside of me, and sometimes they can get out, but I know that with my training and through Bodhi's teachings, I can keep that under control. Through combat, I can find zen and peace in my head.
Which emotion gives you the hardest time controlling?
Anger. Probably guilt. Guilt I couldn't find a different way to help my parents. Anger that my parents turned on me, cast me out when I protested. But they wouldn't believe me, but that's okay.
What is your goal in life?
My goal? Reach enlightenment. Forgive myself. But that is one thing I'm struggling to find after Bodhi's passing. I've gone on a journey, just left, and hopefully I can find my way through that.
When is it okay to lie?
When is it okay to lie? Well, my master would say never, but that's where we disagree. I believe it's okay to lie if your intentions are to further your own goal. If as long as no one else gets hurt, what's the big deal?
How do you decide what is right and what is wrong?
If it's a gray area, I turn to Bodhi. I pray to him, remember what he taught me. But I like to think I can trust my gut, go with what I learned when I was younger. If it's wrong, usually they're hurting someone. If it's good, usually it's for the benefit of others, or maybe me.
What would you say is your greatest strength? But then what would you say others would say your greatest strength is?
Others would say my greatest strength is my willingness to do whatever, go out there and fight. But I think my greatest strength is choosing my battles wisely.
What is the quality that you most value in a good friend?
Haven't had much of those, but in a good friend I'd want someone to be there for me, loyalty, by my side. Someone that wouldn't turn on me if they saw my greatest weakness or one of my flaws. Someone that wouldn't take advantage of me. Someone that would help me grow. Just as Bodhi.
I have a scenario for you.
All right.
There you hang from your ankles. You have just received the flogging of your life. The torturer now sits to rest, but he has fallen asleep. On his belt there are keys, and there is a dagger. What do you do?
I'll take the keys, and I escape. Have I seen any other persons being flogged in this area?
Just you.
I take his dagger, take his belongings, strip him, and I leave him as he is. A pitiful man, and I leave.
It is given to you to make one lasting change in the world. What is that change?
To make one lasting change? Probably that no child would ever have to fear their parents. They can always count on them. Live a happy life, not have to go down the route I went. No child should ever have to.
Tell me, which of our clans would you identify best with?
I believe my past would help me with Minetta, but through Bodhi's teachings, I think I could very long get well with Krieg.
Thank you for your answer.
Of course.
Guardians, any other questions?
I think I have heard all I need to.
As have I.
And I.
Excellent. Thank you so much, candidate.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
He was an interesting young man.
Yes.
Indeed.
Very calculated in his emotions, which can be both a strength and a risk, depending on the situation.
Yes, indeed.
That makes sense. Do any of you have any strong feelings about any of the candidates we have seen today?
I certainly do, but I don't think I will give away whom I like to keep certain things a surprise.
Absolutely.
In that, we are of one mind.
Has anyone surprised you?
Oh, certainly.
Indeed.
Do you find yourself considering someone of a type that you wouldn't have considered prior to meeting that particular candidate?
I believe that any given a true change of heart could be called to serve our gods.
Even on Clan Aria?
A very talented batch of candidates that last round. But the hourglass is run out. Let us give our guardians a chance to confer. Guardians, you have 5 minutes to confer before the next candidate arrives. The gods of Throssia, if you're watching, we implore you to help us select our fourth and final candidate. You may make your wishes known by going to www.hivechannel5.com and selecting the blue vote box. Voting begins today at 4 p.m. Mountain Time. Thank you all. We shall continue our search in 5 minutes. If you're just joining us, it is a dark time in Throssia. Evil forces have put in motion a plan to steal the sacred stone, the Eye of Pleiana. If they're successful, they would undo the planet's creation and cost all the inhabitants their lives. 4 guardians, trapped by an evil spell inside the tavern, called the Hex, are seeking 4 champions each to embark on a perilous quest to defend the Eye of Pleiana. We were able to obtain Father Benedict last night, but in our efforts to do so, a trade had to be made. So Madison the Lord has graciously accepted the task to enter the abyss in his stead. Friar Archibald will commune with her to know her will as we proceed. Their search resumes now. The next candidate, please.
Hi, Joseph Wong. I'm a local artist in the Provo, Utah area. My family used to breed purebred Pomeranians and champion racing pigeons. So I just like jump into character here?
Yes.
Hello. You might want to know my name. Well, I've gone by a lot in the past, but for now you can call me Oboro. Oh, what would you like to know?
Tell us, Arbor, what is it that you do?
Oh, I make ends meet. I make sure a job gets done. Ultimately, I like to make sure that every day I'm a little smarter and well off than I was the day before.
What is the goal that you are seeking in this life?
Goal? How boring. Very pedestrian. Why set a goal when you can just let the tides of the world take you where you need to be?
Tell us, how do you decide what is right and what is wrong?
Right and wrong? Oh, how very mundane. Right and wrong makes no difference to me, as long as I'm on top and things go my way.
I have a scenario for you.
Okay.
There you hang, bound by your ankles and your
Is it
wrists.
Wednesday already?
You have just received the flogging of your life.
Oh.
Your torturer has fallen asleep, and on him you see a dagger and the keys to your bonds. How do you respond?
Well, first of all, lazy. Fell asleep during the job? You could give me a proper flogging. I reckon I'd find a way to escape my binding, take the keys, take the dagger, if only for my own personal use, and, maybe I'll tie him up. Reverse this BDSM train we got going. Oh, shoot, we're TVY7, right? Is that what we're going for? Well, kids don't know what that means.
I appreciate your candor.
What is it that you value most?
Well, me, of course. Because at the end of the day, the person I'm stuck with is me.
Do you feel you could command a team?
I'm sure I could command a team. You gotta be more specific than that. What do you want me, like?
Would you prefer to command a team?
Of course! Everybody needs some lackeys to push around. Fortunately, they don't like being called that.
What is your view on killing?
Well, personally, I'm in favor of it. But sometimes killing is too easy. Let them squirm around a bit. Get a last breath of life. See them struggle. That's when you know you're truly alive. And then you kill them.
I see. Thank you for your answer.
You seem to value your freedom quite a lot. What makes you want to come and do a job for us?
Oh, you guys seem to be at the hot spot of most topics. How very interesting. And interest is the spice of life.
What is it you hope to obtain by taking on this quest?
Well, I guess it depends on what we see on our journey now, isn't it? Ultimately, anything out of the ordinary will make life more interesting for me. I've seen a lot in my day.
Is there any moral line you won't cross?
Morals?
I guess that's your answer.
I am satisfied.
I am satisfied.
As am I.
I am too.
Excellent. Thank you, candidate.
What were your thoughts on that candidate?
Oboro. A wild one.
He was indeed. So when it comes to the champions that you're selecting today, what outlook are you looking for? Are you looking for a team player? Are you looking for someone that can be independent and act on their own? What do you value? I'm curious, Arya.
I look for one who has a strong sense of self, a strong sense of belief, and a desire to do that which is right. And that what that person may look like is unknown to me and is known only to the god Pleiana. But I believe that it will be made manifest when they arrive.
What about Krieg?
I would say courage, pride, and loyalty are what we seek. Someone who isn't afraid to own up with the tasks that they've had to do and admit to the faults that they had, to learn from them and to be able to give their allegiance and loyalty to another wholly.
Interesting. Friar, what about Clan Veneda? Can you speak a little bit for Madison?
Yeah, I think I know Lady Delore fairly well. She usually looks for people that you could call, they make an impact, they make a good impression, and they're very willing to do what is necessary to obtain their goals. And that's just the kind of person that she needs, somebody who's driven to do anything they need to.
Interesting. What about Talum?
Talum is unique because although we seek to maintain balance, that balance doesn't have to necessarily exist in the individual chosen. The champion can be majority one way as long as another champion on the team balances them out. And so the decisions I'm making may not exactly make sense to those watching based on the values of Talum, but collectively as a clan, there is harmony.
Interesting. You can't have day without the night, right? Balance in all things.
Talum, speaking of balance, didn't see that.
So when you pose these scenarios, are these things that you have encountered before, that you yourself have had to work out of? Where do those come from?
Some are experiences, but some tell me whether they are willing to do what's needed.
I see.
If they are based on experience, then Veneda must be having a lot of experiences with marshmallows.
This is true.
I believe our next candidate has arrived.
You may not.
Hi, my name is Devaney Wilhite. An interesting fact about myself is that I just moved here about 3 or 4 months ago from Albuquerque, New Mexico. Hello, my name is Ailish. I'm a male. I don't know if you can tell. So I come from a clan where we have made deals with Kelpies throughout generations. They protect us in return for us feeding them once a moon cycle. I can call on them in battle once a moon cycle. That's essentially the basis of a lot of my powers. I myself am not magical. I have a deep distrust of mysticism because while I respect the Kelpies and we have deals with them, I fear them. They're terrifying. I'm a healer, but I'm not a very compassionate healer. I'm not very nice to people. I can be quite mean, in fact. I often jump to the most extreme solution in the middle of battle. So people often have to keep me from chopping their infected limbs off and such things, and instead convince me to use my poultices and my powders, which I'm very good at making. Some of my flaws, like I said, a bit of a lack of compassion. Everything I do is based on a sense of familial duty rather than any desire to do good for the world. Let's see, one of my specialties, I can make anything edible. Not good, just edible. You got bark, I can cook it. You got a rotten carcass, I can cook it. Anything you need. It's not gonna taste great, but you'll survive. Let's see. Do you mind if I pull out my list of...
Please.
Cool. Thank you. So, I'm expressive about the little things, like if someone likes my cooking, I get really excited, but I'm stoic about the big things. I'm not very emotional when it comes to death or pain. I'm distrustful of mysticism, as I said, the night, women and horses, because Kelpies are half women and half horse. I can grow trust for women. It's not that I dislike them or something. I just take a minute initially. And same with the night. I can venture into it if need be. I tend not to, though. All right, ideals. So, as I said, my biggest ideal is maintaining tradition and carrying out the will of my ancestors. That is at the root of everything I do. Another one of my ideals is to walk heavily and carry a big stick. Sneak attacks are for the realm of the Kelpies and are shameful for humans to commit. That's what I believe. So one of my flaws is that I will not participate in sneak attacks. I will participate in battle once cover is blown, but I straight up refuse to participate in sneak attacks. Another one of my flaws is that I refuse to read because I believe it's a rejection of sacred ancient wisdom. I distrust people who read. Another one of my ideals, the world is tough, be tougher. Bonds. So I have the pact struck with the Kelpies generations ago. As I said, I'm required, so the way this works, I'm required to feed them once a month. If there's no one around, the body of water, Kelpies hang out in bodies of water. If there's no one around to feed them, I am required to sacrifice myself. The benefit of this, though, is if we're in the heat of battle, once a moon cycle, I can call on them, and they'll be fed, and we get help as well. So it works both ways. I have a deep, romantic, almost romantic love of nature and all her flaws. As I said, I'm distrustful of the night, but distrustful in the way that one might be distrustful of a scorned wife. I'm a little bit scared. During the day, though, we just have complete connection. So I can tend to disregard the pain of my cohort insofar as there's nothing to be done about it. Can't and won't read. Too quick to jump to the most extreme of solutions in the heat of battle. Usually my answer is, gonna have to chop it off. I'm not skilled at melee combat. I can fight, but not well. I'm not particularly fast or strong. But I am very good from the back. I like to chop up pieces of wood and launch them with my staff. So this brings me to my tools. I have a massive staff that doesn't necessarily deal a lot of damage, but it's very effective at clearing people out of the way so I can get to my teammates who need help.
Let me ask you something.
Yes.
If you were chosen for one of these clans, and we were to ask you to do something that might be against your familial duty, how might you approach that situation?
I would refuse. I might even take offense to it. I would be open to the idea of debating how it might fit into my familial obligations. I would do what I could. One of my familial obligations is fulfilling my oaths. So if I make an oath to a team, I will do everything I can to work for that team. But if something is completely against my ancestors, I would rather die than commit it.
Loyalty to your ancestors. Not a shameful thing.
You've placed a great deal of value on tradition and family. Tell me, what is lost if people forget tradition?
Everything. The very thing that has kept my clan together in the bogs has been tradition and sticking to oaths. If it wasn't for these awful things that we have to do where we sacrifice to the Kelpies, we simply would not have survived the bog. So to me, neglecting duty leads to death. I'm actually very mentally inflexible, so it's really hard for me to look at things from a different perspective than that. That's one of my flaws.
You seem very attuned to your strengths and, as you call them, flaws. How have you managed to get to this stage of your life where you are so objective about yourself?
Well, I don't believe there's any use in painting anything a color that it's not. I believe very much in the reality of both good and bad, and pain and gain. And so I just feel I was raised that way. That's how we survive.
I appreciate your responses.
What would you say is the strength you would offer to the clan?
The biggest strength I would offer, I'm not scared of anything. I'm not one to turn away from things that, I take that back, I am scared of some things, but I'm not one to turn away from things that I am afraid of. I'm not one to get overly emotional or caught up in things outside of the current reality. I'm very stalwart, I believe the word is. Also, I'm very gifted at surgery and healing. Not magical, but the chemistry of it all. If I may continue, or no?
I think. Please continue. No, I was going to say, I think we have a very strong sense of who you are, and you do not need to convince us further.
All right then. I'll take that.
I'm satisfied. Any other questions, Guardians?
I think we are good.
Excellent. Thank you so much, candidate.
Thanks. Thank you very much for your time.
Yes. No date.
Hi, my name is Matthew Bailey. I work for an eye doctor in American Fork. That's one interesting thing about me. Hi, I'm Endirian. I was raised as a young boy. I was adopted as a young boy. I was found left on the side of the road, and some young family chose to adopt me. I didn't know that they were the leaders of this thieving guild at the time. I didn't realize that up until I was about 5, when I noticed some really sketchy things kind of going on with my family. But I took into it the stride, because these people have raised me my entire life. So I grew up as a thief. I grew up on the streets. On my 19th birthday, I went out and partying with some friends, living in riotous living at that time. When I came home, my house was burned. The only thing I could find, only shred of evidence, was a cloak that was left untouched, smelling of roses. When I went to the local authorities, they said they noticed some other signs of similar arsony. And I've been on a revenge path ever since. I'm going to rebuild my father's guild. I'm going to find this sorcerer, and I will murder him. Just take what he took from me.
Tell me, when you do find this sorcerer, he is before you, or she is before you, disarmed, what do you do? What do you use? How do you do it?
Before he's disarmed?
Oh, no, he is disarmed.
He is disarmed. I'm going to take my knife. I'm going to chop off his fingers. I'm going to chop off his feet. I'll look at him in the eyes, and I'll proceed to exact my revenge in many different forms. Finally, I will slit his throat slowly, all while looking him dead in the eyes, telling him my mother's name, my father's name, and my little brother's name.
Is there anything that you value above your revenge?
No.
Where does your loyalty lie?
The people that I hold dear. My friends, it's hard for me to make friends. I have all this hatred inside me. But when I do have friends, there are a few that I hold dear. My loyalties lie with them. I will do everything I can to protect them.
And what does it take for someone to become one of your friends?
They have to stick by my... They don't judge me for my troubled soul, my troubled mind. They stick by me through my hard times. They understand that I am very, very damaged, but am fiercely loyal once that loyalty is earned.
If I may speak for Lady DeLorean, Lord, I'm going to present you with the scenario. There's a marshmallow on a plate in front of you. You can either have that now, or if you wait a year, you can have 100 marshmallows.
Why would I have marshmallows?
It's
a fine question.
An example.
A fine question.
Agreed. I try not to question Lady Delore.
You're true to her.
I would wait patiently.
Let me ask you another question. Pose another scenario to you.
Before you do, I will ask a follow-up. Why would you wait for a year, especially as you said, why would you want the marshmallows?
I'm presenting it as gold in my mind, something of value. When I have more something of value, and I don't absolutely need it at this moment, why not wait?
And if you did absolutely need it at this moment, would that change your answer?
Is the marshmallows going to help me kill the sorcerer?
It all
That's
comes
the
back
only
to
thing
that.
I need.
Okay. Continue owning.
Okay. Here's a scenario. You stand before what was once your captor, a guard in a greater scheme. He is before you, and in your hand is his sword. You two are but alone in the forest. He was to deliver you, and he has failed. What do you do?
I would let him live. I understand he's just doing what he's being told to do. Unless he tortured me, then I might have a few anger issues inside me and might want to exact a little bit of that. But if I was just captured by my own idiocy, then I would let him live.
Thank you for your answer.
What is it that you hope to achieve in your revenge?
Personal satisfaction. I know it's very mediocre as reasons go. I need that closure for myself, I should say. I need to know that he suffered the way my parents suffered. I might burn him alive. That might be more fun, actually.
And after you've exacted your revenge, what then is there left to live for?
Maybe I'll find a wife. Who knows?
Very good. I am satisfied.
As am I.
As am I.
Excellent. Thank you, candidate.
devoted to his task. He can give you
That he was singularly focused.
Focused young lad.
Indeed.
So we agree he was focused.
I'm curious your thoughts on our previous champion candidate. I believe that was Ailish.
Ah, yes. The healer.
Yes,
Ah.
but not magically.
But not magically. Yes. Very interesting.
Interesting mix of strengths and fears, I felt.
Yes.
Definitely.
Blunt as well.
Is he someone that Arya could work with?
I do not deny the lad's potential. His heart seemed a bit hard, but he values family and tradition, and there is strength in that.
There's also weakness.
And how did Krieg feel about the lad?
The healer.
Mm-hmm.
Potential. Distrust. But potential.
Even with the loyalty issue, there's distrust?
Well, what if we ask of him something that goes against his familial duty?
Yes.
That was cause for concern.
But
again, honor. There is honor in that duty. In obtaining and maintaining that duty.
I did find it interesting that part of the familial duty was to honor oaths. And if an oath was made to us, he would rather kill himself than violate the familial duty or betray the oath. So in that sense, we are not at risk.
That is true. We are only at risk at losing our healer.
That is true. But if we do not choose the healer to begin with, then...
And you, good friar,
Yes, Father.
do you have any thoughts on this candidate in regards to Clan Veneda?
In regards to Veneda, they don't seem willing to do anything necessary to push all the way forward and do what they need.
Very interesting.
Astute.
My name is Kathy Fry. I am a video game designer, and I have had the chickenpox twice.
Thank you.
You can call me Minerva. I'm a bit of a... I suppose other people would call me a bard, but I would consider myself more of a people player. I like shiny things. In fact, I'm quite intrigued by your glowing devices. Here, I'll make you a trade. These are pearls I've acquired from a merchant. Not just any pearls, fire pearls. They're quite rare, quite valuable. I'll trade you these for your glowy thing. The little square box that glows.
You are unaware of their potential, and yet you offer something so valuable in exchange. Why?
What can I say? I quite like things that are new, things that are different.
And what is it that you value the most? Is it things that are new and different, or do you value something else even more?
Let me tell you a story. When I was 7 years old, I was taken from my home, from my family, by people who believed that their power, that their money, give them some sort of free lease to do whatever they want. Now, if I were a good person, I would tell you that my goal would be to eradicate the social class so that something like that would never happen again, but I don't really consider myself a good person. What do I want? I'm interested in gains. Power, money. I want to do to them exactly what they did to me. Any other questions?
I have a scenario for you.
All right.
There you walk, bound by your wrists, and guided. On either side of you are throngs of crowds. You are on your way to your hanging. Your enemies have captured you, and they have put this punishment on you. Now, as you walk, one of your own clan has found you and slipped the very thing you need to escape into your hands. Tell me, what is that thing they've given you, and what use does it have for you in that moment? How do you escape?
A dagger. The easiest solution, I would say. First, I need my hands. Can't really do anything without those. And then there's the issues of the guards. I wouldn't consider myself a vengeful person, not by any means, but I'm really not a fan of authority. I don't like being captured, held down. Do I have qualms with killing? Yes and no. Yes, if I think it's deserved. No, if I think it's not.
What determines whether or not the killing is deserved?
I've lived a long life. Well, short life, but I've seen a lot. I learned when I was young that I used to think that people were dangerous, that they couldn't be trusted, but that's not it at all. People are simple. You can watch somebody, and if you watch them for long enough, you learn what guides them. You can learn their behaviors, how they think. You can get inside their head. I wouldn't consider myself smarter than other people, just a little more observant. I trust my judgment more than anybody else's. Would I kill someone based on what the law thinks? No. The law favors the people in power, the people with money. I do what I think's right.
So tell me, where does your loyalty rise and lie?
I would say myself, but that's not true. Not entirely. There are some people who are trustworthy. Little kids, quite fond of little kids. My moral compass is flexible. But the one line, the one rule that does not bend: you do not hurt a child. You don't take a child away from its family. I know how that is. That's where my loyalty lies.
I have a scenario for you. There is a child in danger, and you have been given a task by us guardians. That task is of the utmost importance, and your window of opportunity to succeed is small. When you come across this child being harmed, do you stop to assist the child, or do you continue on in the task you have been given, knowing that that task will ultimately yield the greatest good?
It depends. What sort of assistance does the child require? Is it life-threatening? Or is he sad because he stubbed his toe?
It is life-threatening.
I might not be a religious person. Gods are sort of not my thing. But I do believe in karma. If you do something good will happen to you. If you do something bad will happen to you. I would stop and help the child. A child is innocent. A child doesn't deserve to die. Any situation when you can save a child, karma will merit back to you.
And what of the hundreds of children you could have saved had you continued with your task?
All right, I'll admit I have a little flaw. I've been told this. Sometimes I'm blindsided by what I see now. I have other people like to think in times. There's a schedule. There's yesterday, today, tomorrow. There's the future, the past. For me, there's now, and there's not now. I have the tendency to forget that there is more than just now.
You act in the moment.
Exactly.
I appreciate your honesty.
If I may, when you work with a team, what role would you say you fill on that team?
Well, I'm a people person. I'm a liar. I'm a deceiver. I'm good with people. People like me when I want them to like me. Fighting, still working on that. But people, I know people. I can get inside their head. I've been watching people for a very, very long time. You can call me a strategist. I would call me I'd just call me a people person.
I have a final question for you, for me. If one of us, whether it be Arya, Krieg, Veneda, or Talum, were to open our doors, which one would you accept?
Why?
You're a listener. I like that. And you're a watcher. You study. You learn. People are simple. You're a little more complex. I like that. You're hard to read. I like that. Find it intriguing.
Any final questions, Guardians?
I am satisfied.
I'm satisfied.
As well.
Excellent. Thank you, Candace.
Quite externally vocal.
Yes.
Hi, I'm Brandon Pack, and something interesting about me, I am an actor at Evermore Park. Just got to hear from a callback for that, so very excited. Hello, my name is Imrel Salazar. A pleasure to meet you, I'm sure. I am a half-elf of noble birth, although I wasn't really appreciated by my elven peers during my life. At least with the elves, of course. When I lived amongst humans, I was respected for my noble birth and birthright. I wasn't always like this, of course. When I was younger, I was tormented by my peers, always looked down upon because I was seen as inferior to them. But one day, a voice reached out to me from the abyss, and it spoke to me of a way I could become better, become more powerful. And it was that day that I made a pact and became a warlock of great repute, at least in my humble opinion. I have many noble friends and connections, And I am willing to work with anyone who will help me pursue my own goals and aims. And it would be my pleasure to serve at any one of your discretion.
You speak of goals and aims.
Yes.
What goals do you have?
Well, for one, I would like to return to those who wronged me, those who tormented me all those years ago, and show them that despite their torments, I made it. I am more powerful than they could ever hope to be. Of course, also, to make myself stronger, to improve myself, to learn, to grow. This is the goal of life, no? To become better than we were yesterday.
Tell me, how would you show that you have made it to those that wronged you? Give me an example.
Well, friends in noble places, of course. Who you know is important to those who are of noble blood. It is always about who you know, and more importantly, what those people can do for you. Also, displays of magical power, for one, would be nice, which is why I must strengthen my relationship with my patron, become deeper and more well-versed in magic.
And who is your patron?
My patron, it is an old one. I have yet to learn its exact name, but one day I hope to.
Is that where your loyalty lies?
I suppose. I owe him a favor, of course, for he did reach out and pull me up when I felt my lowest. I do owe him a small debt, I suppose. But in making myself stronger, I suppose, it will make him stronger.
Interesting.
And what do you make of your patron?
What do I make? An interesting question. He is quite difficult at times to understand exactly what he wants me to do. But I do my best with what he gives me. He is rather wrapped in mystery, but I am still just starting out. I'm still learning under his tutelage, you could say.
Tell me, when is it permissible to lie?
When is it permissible to lie? Well, it depends on what you want. If, for example, a lie would help put you in a better position with a better standing, let's say, with some important person, a lie here and there might not be bad. But if the lie is too great, if it's too vast, then I would advise against it. You wouldn't want to jeopardize your position, would you?
Are there any moral lines you will not cross?
Any moral lines? A couple. I would not harm anyone innocent, of course. That is a line I do not draw. And my patron has not yet asked it of me. It would be an interesting conundrum if he would. But really, all is fair in love and war, as long as nobody innocent, uninvolved, gets hurt.
Is that how you define innocent, uninvolved?
Perhaps. But I would say that innocent means, yes, uninvolved, no connection. You have put nothing in, and therefore nothing should be done to you.
Let me pose a scenario for you.
Of course, sir.
There you sit in a prison cell. You and your team have been captured, and each of you has your own cell. As you sit, you realize something is wrong. Guards are running to and fro, and you realize that the prison is on fire and burning fast. As the temperature rises and the air grows thick, one of the guards sees you and tosses you his keys. What do you do?
Well, first I would unlock my cell. And then I would go for my compatriots as well, to protect them from the fire. And then, well, perhaps, we would try to find a way out. Fairly simple, I know, but often the simplest answer is the best for you, nothing?
Sometimes.
beyond just showing those you used to know power, what kind of goals do you have?
What kind of goals? Well, to advance, and those who have helped me, my friends, I would try to help them in any way I can as well. Perhaps one day I hope to be well known, a powerful warlock with much arcane knowledge, and to have many friends, true friends that I can rely on at any moment.
And what would it take for someone to count themselves numbered among your friends?
Well, of course, what we can do for each other is very important. An honest connection based on the exchange of information, but also the exchange of, I suppose, what we like about each other, admirable qualities. Sometimes you need your friends to do something for you, but more often than not, it is just nice to have them in case you need them.
Let me pose a follow-up to that scenario.
Of course.
You are releasing your comrades from these cells.
Yes.
You come to a couple that have people that have wronged you in them. What do you do then?
I would pose a question to them as quickly as time allows, that I will release them. But in exchange, I will require of them future favors. If they assent to this, I will release them and assist them with their own escape. But if they refuse, that is not up for me to decide. I will simply leave them be.
Would you ever assist someone who is unable to do something for you in return, and who is not considered innocent by your definition?
An interesting question you pose. I suppose I would still help them all the same. But they would have to repay the favor later. Whether it is by doing something for me or gifting me with something, it does not matter. Only that they repay the debt they owe me.
And if they did not?
If they did not, I would be forced to defend my own honor and exact the price that I am owed. In fairness, of course, not more than they owe me.
I appreciate your candor.
Well, thank you very much. I try to be as candid as possible.
Any other questions, Guardians?
I'm satisfied.
As am I.
Indeed.
All right, thank you, candidates.
That was an interesting one, I felt.
Yes, it was. It was indeed.
I'm realizing that these champions are not as straightforward as I was hoping they would be.
They are withholding some things.
My name is Thomas Brown. This is probably the coolest thing I've ever done. Tried to do anyway.
Wow. Wow. Is this your headquarters? It's really cool. My name is Big John. And I'd like you to meet my best friend, Slithers. Slithers?
Can I have that?
Well, maybe he meant to meet you. Well, I'm a halfling, as you can see. And I am a finder of things. Some would call that a rogue, but I don't really understand why they'd say that. I come from an orphanage called the 5 Virtues. And I left there because it was doing not very well
Sister Mary and Sister Tiana didn't have the support that they needed. So I decided to go out into the world to find that financial support. To be honest though, I don't know how to get back, and no one seems to know where the orphanage is. But I'm here now with my 2 short swords, back off and too late. I don't like using them, you see, but when you have to, you have to.
Big John, how old are you?
Oh, well that's a question. You see, in the orphanage, Sister Mary said that birthdays were something they were about the past and how we should always live in the present. So, which is kind of strange since she never really gave us any presents. But, so, I don't really know per se.
Tell us, Big John, how do you know what is right and what is wrong?
Oh, well, that's quite a big question. Well, I mean, sometimes you get this feeling inside like an action that you do is right. And then sometimes you get a feeling inside that your action is bad. Sister Mary talked about this thing called the conscience. I wasn't really paying attention that much, to be honest. But I don't know. I think it really comes down to who needs what and who has what and whether or not they need it.
By that definition, it seems as though from one situation to another, the definition of what is good could change.
Oh, well, I never really thought of it that way before. Oh, I suppose so.
Let me ask you. Actually, I'll pose a scenario to you.
Okay.
Before you is a box. Inside that box, you find a thing you have wanted more than anything. What is that thing, and how do you use it?
Oh. I don't. That is so. I guess it would just be the safety and health of my friends back at the orphanage. But here too, you know, if I make friends, I like having friends. Friends are very helpful. They make you feel less lonely. So I suppose that's what's in the box, though I don't know. Can you put that in a box?
Why not? This is just a scenario.
Oh.
Thank you for your answer.
Oh, no problem.
As a follow-up to that,
yes.
What would you be willing to do, and what lengths would you go to in order to obtain that protection for your friends?
Oh, well, I guess I'd do anything to help those I care about. But, well, when you say anything, that just sounds, never really thought about it before. That's a lot. But I mean, if a thing needed to be done, and it would help those I care about, I guess I would do it then.
Does that include killing?
Oh, killing's a bad business. I don't prefer it, but if people are hurting other people, innocent people, my friends, or others, maybe they don't deserve what they take from others. I usually like to hide, though. I like being in the shadows a bit more, but if push comes to shove, as they say, I guess I would. I mean, I guess I carry these 2 short swords for a reason. I mean, they say they're short swords. They're pretty long swords for me.
I am satisfied.
As am I.
And I.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kim.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I rather liked him a bit.
I just want to find his orphanage and see what I can do to help support it.
Yes.
Indeed.
He had an innocence to him.
He's quite a cheeky youngster.
Yes, indeed.
Hi, I'm Jen Groves. An interesting fact about me, I've been role-playing since I was 7. My brother wrote a homebrew campaign in Star Wars, the role-playing game. I played an Ewok named Boofus. We snuck onto an Empire ship, stole it, and sailed away to our freedom. Hello, I'm Freya, Leif's daughter. Well, there's not really much to tell about me. My father raised me by himself with a crew of mercenaries. It's probably kind of strange for a Nord to sound like me, but I just kind of was raised away from my people. That's about all there is to me.
Tell me, where does your loyalty lie?
My loyalty lies with the Lady Sif, goddess of war. I dedicated my life to her because, well, it was a way to save my father when he lost his hand in a battle. I prayed to Lady Sif that she would grant me the power to save him and prevent him from dying because he's all I have left in this world. And she granted me the power to heal him on the condition that I dedicate my life to her. And that's what I've done. I go where she tells me to go.
And if where we tell you to go is in conflict with where she tells you to go, what then?
That's a great question. Well, in the past, I can be very persuasive. And if I can make my case to Lady Sif, sometimes I can make her see that the way I want to go and the way she wants me to go can actually be the same thing. So sometimes I can do a little magic and make her see my way too. But ultimately, to be honest, she did save my father's life. So ultimately, if the paths diverge, I have to go where she tells me to go.
Tell me, what is the greatest good worth fighting for?
The greatest good worth fighting for is freedom. The ability to own your own land and fight for your own freedom and not live by what someone in a castle far away tells you to do. I mean, the ability to live your own life the way you want to live, that's the ultimate freedom. That's the most important thing there is.
And what lengths would you go to obtain that freedom for you and others?
Well, any lengths. I mean, I basically have given my entire life to a goddess to save my father and to save his right to protect his own land and protect his own freedoms. The band of mercenaries that my father and I have traveled with were often helping villages escape from tyrannical rule. I mean, freedom is everything for everyone, and sometimes that means going to greater lengths than others to help people achieve that for themselves.
And are there any moral lines you won't cross?
I mean, at the heart of it, I'm a warrior. I try not to take life unnecessarily, but sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. And, you know, I'm not just gonna go around killing people left and right without any sort of I mean, willy-nilly. I try to trust my own judgment and trust the goddess Sif if I don't trust my own judgment, but there really aren't many lines I won't cross, to be honest.
Would you kill a child?
That's a tough one. I try not to harm children. Children and animals, they have a special innocence about them, you know, and sometimes children can't, you know, even children who have found themselves in situations where they're not with good people, that's not always their fault. People can't help how they were born. Really, I mean, I feel like children are different. Children shouldn't be held responsible for the actions of adults, especially when the actions of adults have put them in a situation of danger. I don't know that I would ever kill a child without some serious thinking and honestly praying, and I don't pray that much, to be honest.
I appreciate your sincerity.
I want to give you a scenario. There you stand in the middle of a large crowd. On the podium in front of you is your enemy, is the target that you've been sent to take out. In your hand is the weapon or item to do it. What is that weapon, and how do you go about getting rid of that target?
Well, my weapon of choice is typically, I mean, it's a spell, really. It's a javelin of light, and I conjure it, and I throw it, and been getting pretty accurate, a lot more accurate than when I was a kid. But for the most part, I don't really miss. But it, you know, it just kind of appears in my hand, and I throw it, and then once it's been thrown and done its work, it's gone. But I don't really fight much with physical weapons. It's mostly with magical weapons or magic in general, thanks to Lady Sif.
Thank you for your answer.
You're welcome.
Any other questions, Guardians?
I'm satisfied.
As am I.
Thank you so much, candidate.
Thank you.
Thank you. There are some phenomenal potential champions.
Thank you.
And I would say I'm especially impressed with the women.
That live stream's happening right now.
Speaking of the women, we have another candidate calling in.
40-ish minutes.
Yeah. She'll give her name and something interesting about herself first, and then she'll be all yours.
Okay.
Whenever you're ready.
If you aren't selected at that announcement, it's not the end of the road for you. Because at 4 o'clock today, High Channel 5 is going to launch a poll of names of all of the people that auditioned for this past year.
Okay, we're ready for
The
you.
floor is yours.
Can you see me? Can you see me? Well, when Talrain said I could, you know, reach you through a magical portal, I really didn't believe that a warlock had that ability. This is fascinating. First, let me introduce myself. This is very unconventional, I'd imagine. My name is Lee Bertram, and currently I am with several other adventurers. We're rescuing a young gentleman who fell into the claws of a succubus. But that's not why I'm here. I'm here because I heard far and wide of the tales that you are seeking champions, and though I may be but a lowly half-elf bard, I thought I could be of some assistance. I'm happy to travel at my own discretion with my own gold, and I am here at your service.
What can you bring to any of us? What skills can you bring?
person. That's what I can bring, the desire to assist, the desire to support, the desire to not, like most guards, be in the spotlight, but to help carry the torch.
Thank you.
Briefly.
And should the assistance we require demand you take a life, how would you respond?
It's not easy, but it's something I've done before. It's ugly taking a life, but if it's necessary, if it must be done, then there's no other option.
What would you say is a skill that you couldn't live without? What's your most valuable skill to yourself?
My most valuable skill? That's tricky. I have so many. I would say I have so many, but I have a desire to learn. I have a curiosity that so far in all of my adventures I have not been able to satisfy. And as a former student of the College of Lore, there are many secrets that I wish to uncover. So my skill isn't necessarily one thing, but it's a trait. It's the desire to seek the truth, to uncover it, to display it for all the world to see.
Tell us, what is the attribute that you would most value in a close friend?
The attribute that I would value in a close friend. In my travels, I've met so many people that I can't necessarily say I have a close friend. But if I were to have someone and be as lucky as to have a close friend, I would say trust. Not blind trust, but the ability to say that they believe in you and you believe in them. That without their scopes and abilities, you cannot work together. Then that's true friendship. Being able to say, I need help, and lend a hand when you can.
And would you ever betray a friend if the situation called for it?
That's a tricky one, but at the same time, it's not. If there was absolutely no way I could do it without furthering, if I could do it while furthering the greater good, perhaps. But that is a very black and white question. The circumstances of every betrayal and every story I've read comes with layers of truth, comes with layers of lies, comes from both sides. The black and the white turn into gray. So I can't give you an answer right away.
I appreciate that.
Let me pose a scenario to you. There you sit, imprisoned. You've been in prison for some time, maybe a year. The same guard is over you. He has teased you, he has misfed you, he has tortured you in many ways. But on this night, he has unsuccessfully locked the door to your cell. It lays ajar, and he is asleep just outside. What do you do?
Now, is it just me in the prison, or are there others?
It is a prison full of prisoners.
I would say, if I'm alone, I would escape. The only way that I can help my friends is by leaving and going on the outside, and then coming back from within. There's no sense in trying to save someone who you're not in a position to save. You have to wait. I've seen it all before. I've done it before. Not that necessarily, but where I've had to put myself in a position to where I could helping myself.
Any other questions, Guardians?
I am satisfied.
I am satisfied.
All right.
And I.
Thank you so much for calling in, candidate.
Interesting.
Someone utilizing a portal to communicate with us.
It's terribly convenient.
It is, as we experienced with you yesterday.
That's true.
I'm glad we have the looking glasses.
As am I. Yes, she had much potential, I feel.
Hey, I'm Rick Cantrell, and I'm really good at cooking.
You have the floor.
Hello, my name is Kilroan Fallett. I was raised by my father. He raised me alone. He was a blacksmith. He was killed by people he owed money to when I was very young.
What is your goal in life?
Well, I wasn't able to save my father, so I would say that my ultimate goal is to be able to protect those who can't protect themselves.
What is it that you value most in life?
I think the thing that I value most in life is our ability to believe in something and fight for something that's greater than ourselves.
How would you define good and how would you define evil?
I definitely think that it's not all black and white, but I think that something good is doing something for the right reason. I definitely think that intention matters. For example, burning down a building would definitely be considered evil until you put evil in people inside that building, and then it wouldn't necessarily be considered evil. So I think that intention definitely matters.
So you would have no problem putting evil people in a building and burning it down?
Not at all.
How do you decide who is worthy of your protection?
Well, generally it would be on a case-by-case basis, but I think if they are being oppressed or if they do not deserve the treatment they are being given, or if they are in danger for some reason that was not their own doing and that they really don't deserve, I think that someone should be there to fight for them when they can't do it themselves.
Is it possible for someone who is evil to redeem themselves?
Absolutely, I believe it is. I think that one of the greatest things about people is the ability to change and become something more than you were before. I believe that's what separates us from animals. I believe that, that's what makes stories so great, is our ability to change.
And if instead of a hypothetical person, we were speaking of an individual who slaughtered your entire family, would your answer remain the same?
If they had truly changed, then yes. I believe that no matter what you've done, as long as your heart has changed, you can come back. I don't believe they've changed, though.
You give yourself an out.
It is given you to make one lasting change in the world. What is that change?
Well, my initial reaction would be that I would have been able to protect my father when I could not. But I think that's kind of a selfish choice. And I think that at the end of the day, I would probably decide to change the hearts of people who oppress and just people who aren't good people. I would want to change the thing inside of them that makes them want to be that.
Is there a situation that you can envision where perhaps there is no redemption to be had?
Well, I definitely don't know everything, and it's possible that there's a scenario that I'm just not aware of, but in everything I can think of every vile action I can think of someone committing, I believe that the point where you go that you can't come back from does not exist, or at least I have not found it.
That's fair.
I'll pose a scenario for you.
Okay.
There you walk, minding your own business, making your way to your home. When out of the darkness, someone comes out and tries to mug you at knife point. Now you guys get in a tussle. He injures you in the fight, but you gain the upper hand. With sword in hand, he begs for his life. What do you do?
Well, would allowing him to live cause any threat to my own life in this direct scenario?
That is for you to decide.
I think that I would let him go because my life is not in direct danger, and the only reason I fought with him was to defend myself, and the need for defense is now over. And there are many reasons that someone turns to mugging. He did not just run up to me and stab me. He's wanting money, he's wanting something. And I don't think he really wants to kill. So I would not kill him unless I had to. I believe in killing for people who deserve it, but if I don't need to, why?
Good answer, thank you.
Any final questions, Guardians?
No.
No. I'm satisfied.
All right, in that case, thank you so much, candidate.
Thank you.
All right. I believe that may be our last candidate for champion.
Oh my.
You have seen all of the candidates at this point, and will now ask you to take 5 minutes to confer, after which we shall begin the final selection process. Guardians, 5 minutes.
Thank you.
Good, yes, 5 minutes.
Welcome back. You have now seen all of the candidates for champions, and it is time to make your final selection from these candidates. Each Guardian will roll 1d20 for selection initiative. We'll proceed in a clockwise direction around the table. Then whoever is the highest will have the first choice of candidate, and the rest will have their turn in descending order. On your turn, you will have some time to review your notes and the pictures of the candidates. Then we'll ask you to make your selection. To make your selection, place the picture of the champion of your choice on your clan sigil. Are there any questions?
No.
In that case, let us begin. House Arya, please make your selection initiative roll.
Oh!
Excellent. That will be difficult to beat. House Krieg?
11.
11. And then House Veneda.
20.
20.
All right, Talum is
sorry, Father.
excluded because she already has 3 candidates selected. So we will now have a roll-off between House Arya and House Veneda. Whoever is the winner of this roll-off will go first in the initiative order. So let's start with House Arya. Make your initiative roll.
17.
And now, Clan Veneta?
2.
All right. So the initiative will proceed in a clockwise direction, starting with Clan Arya. Now you do not have a time limit at this point. You can deliberate with your fellow guardians and see what choice you would like to make.
It may seem strange, but I feel as though the light is calling upon a child born in darkness, and I am inclined to select Esther.
Drusilla would be amazing for Arya. I feel your clan lacks dimension at the moment, and she will round you out nicely.
She had a very strong sense of what she believed in and what she felt was right. And I feel that with some guidance, she could be immeasurably effective in House Arya.
We shall see.
Is that your final selection?
It is.
All right. Will you please hand the photo? Drusilla, Esther, congratulations. And now we come to Clan Krieg.
It's
now,
my
Krieg,
turn.
you have 2 slots open.
I do.
So you shall choose one at this current moment.
Okay.
And then we will complete the initiative round. Once Veneta has had their chance to make their selection, we will return to you to make your final selection.
The pick of the litter. Well, I have thought long and hard about this. It has not been an easy decision, and I still have one other to pick after this one. But after today's performances, I thought I could harness and utilize the skills of Ailish. Darcy. And that is my final decision for my second pick.
Ailish, Darcy, congratulations. And
That's
so
a choice.
we come to Clan Veneta. So Friar, what is the will of Madison directing you to do?
Lady Delore, I feel, has a strong pull towards a young halfling we saw early on today, who, while timid, was capable of great things and showed great potential in what she sought to do. The young halfling Zook.
Zook?
Zook. Also known as
Kesley.
Kesley.
Let's see.
And I believe that is our final decision.
Congratulations, Zook, Kesley, on being selected. 3 of our clans now have 3 candidates decided, so we return to
3
Clan
females.
Krieg. That's right.
3 females. There are too many good people to pick from.
Could you narrow it down, and perhaps we could assist you in narrowing it further?
Well, I have highlighted a few people I thought would do well in Krieg and who could be honed. I thought that, let's see, who was my first pick? I thought the recent Kim, or Leah, as her character was called, did good job. Good job, even through Skype. She was able to convey her message.
Okay.
Gosh.
Did you happen to pay attention to Ailish?
Did I happen to pay attention?
Devani?
I did pay attention to Devani.
Is that someone you are considering?
She could do well, or was it a she?
Let's see.
In her character.
Her character was male.
Was a male.
Yes.
He could do well. I also like when people come and stick to a clan and are loyal to that clan. So in my selection also was Jennifer. She was a warrior and she stuck to being a warrior.
And I do recall at one point you mentioned our paladin friend, Isaac M.
Yes, the paladin of
Yes.
Bahamut.
I would say the paladin Isaac and Peter, who liked just punching things, was also a pretty good candidate. So I have not narrowed it down very well, but at least some.
That is... Okay, what are the strengths and weaknesses? What are you missing in Clan Krieg?
I think I am thinking, actually, is what I should have said.
It's a difficult decision.
It is.
But it's one that must be made.
As guardians, do we have a preference for who would round out the entire team of champions nicely?
It is indeed difficult to say, for there are many worthy candidates on the table.
If I may, the two that we've shown on Will and Darcy, they came off as slightly timid or nervous, both of them. And so I feel like you could use somebody with great confidence, very decisiveness. Very decisive person.
And which of those champions would you say falls under that category?
I feel like several of them could. But you also have to take into account their loyalties.
Okay. I'm still
Some
not
are more
following.
loyal. Some are more loyal to their own personal gods than they might be to the clan. And Krieg, if I remember you correctly, Will, are willing to protect each other no matter what.
You are correctly remembering.
And so perhaps you are referring to Jennifer and Devani?
They seemed possibly to be willing to go against the clan for their own gods.
I have made my decision.
Who do you select, Krieg?
My selection will be the one I pick in just a few moments by reaching out my hand and picking. And I pick Isaac.
Congratulations, Isaac, on being selected for Clan Krieg. Now, this is not the end of the selection process, as our clans do need a fourth member. So, at this point, we reach out to you, the gods of Throssia. We implore you to help us with the selection of the fourth and final champion. You may make your wishes known by going to www.hivechannel5.com and selecting the blue vote box. Now, the voting begins at 4 p.m. Mountain Time today, and you will have at least 48 hours to make your wishes known. Until then, may the goddess of Pleona strengthen us as we seek to preserve Throssia. Good day. Thank you, Guardians.